Resilience patterns in microservices. There are three patterns: circuit breaker, bulkhead, and retry mechanism. Why do we need resilience? Network communication, inevitable failures, cascading failures. So there are different types of failures. So we have to handle it, right? So the build systems that bend but don't break. So why do we need resilience? Our goal is build systems that bend but don't break. So fail fast, isolate failures, recover gracefully. These are the reasons for different types of resilience patterns. So common failure scenarios: downstream service slowness, network glitches, thread pool exhaustion, cascading failures. Okay, so what is the impact? A single point of failure can become a system-wide outage. For example, if the user service is slow, the order service waits. Eventually, the order service runs out of threads and stops accepting new orders, even if the database is fine. So these are the failure scenarios. Then how to handle these issues? Pattern 1, circuit breaker. So what is a circuit breaker? It's a protective mechanism that wraps a function call, monitors for failures, and stops executing the call when a failure threshold is reached. Inspired by electrical circuit breakers. Just like a house fuse trips to protect appliances from power surges, this pattern trips to protect the system. Stops calling a failing service. If a downstream service is dead, don't waste resources trying to talk to it. Prevents cascading failures. Stops the domino effect, where one slow dependency exhausts threads across the entire application. Gives time for recovery. Allows the struggling service a grace period to recover before receiving new traffic. This is what circuit breaker does. So there are three states for a circuit breaker: normal flow, blocking flow, testing flow. So closed state is the normal operation. Requests pass through to the downstream service. Failures are counted, but the circuit remains closed unless a threshold is reached. Open state means circuit is tripped. Requests fail immediately, fail fast, without calling the downstream service, preventing resource exhaustion. Half open state. After a timeout, a limited number of trial requests are allowed. If successful, the circuit closes. If they fail, it reopens. These are all the three states in a circuit breaker. It's a diagram, it explains these three operations: closed, normal operation, half open, trial run, open, failing fast or blocked. This is a code example. We can use the annotation @circuit breaker, and we can give a name, order service. Then we have to give the fallback method name. So if you give order fallback here, we have to create a same method name, same method here. It should match this payload or the parameters. Okay, here you can see a string ID, here also you can see a string ID. This throwable is optional, but all other parameters, whatever here in the get order, should be here also. Okay, then only it will work. So it is annotation driven. The circuit breaker annotation wraps the method call. The name attribute links to configurations, threads, thresholds, timeouts in your application.yaml. So The configurations we can add in our application.yaml, mainly the threshold and timeout. Okay. Graceful fallback. When the circuit is open or the call fails, the fallback method is invoked immediately. It must match the original method signature plus an optional throwable. Placement strategy, service layer. Best place to apply this. It allows you to handle business logic in the fallback. Example, return a cached data, while keeping the controller layer thin and focused on HTTP concerns. Next pattern is bulkhead pattern. What is bulkhead pattern? A resilience pattern that isolates elements of an application into pools so that if one fails, the others will continue to function. Consider this as a boat and 3 compartments. Even if one compartment is failed, still the other 2 will work. The boat will not sink. Okay. So it is inspired by ship bulkheads. Ships are divided into watertight compartments. If the hull is breached, water fills only one section, preventing the ship from sinking. Isolates failures. Prevents a fault in one part of the system from taking down the entire application. Like if payment API is down means payment API is down. It will not affect order placement or login. It will not affect. That is isolates failures. Limits resource usage. Allocates fixed resources like fixed number of threads and connections to specific services, ensuring noisy neighbors don't starve critical components. So without bulkhead, one failure means total crash. With the bulkhead, partial failure only. Why it matters? Just because the elevator is broken doesn't mean the stairs shouldn't work. Separate your resources to guarantee partial availability. Bulkhead types. There are 2 types, semaphore and thread pool. Semaphore limits the number of concurrent calls based on a permit system. If the limit is reached, requests are rejected immediately. Thread pool bulkhead uses a dedicated thread pool and queue for a specific service. This ensures that a slow service cannot exhaust the application's main thread. So semaphore is low overhead synchronous. Thread pool is asynchronous. So when to choose semaphore, when to choose thread pool. If you need high throughput with minimal overhead, use semaphore. If you wrap blocking IO calls, example JDBC, and need absolute resource protection, you choose thread pool. Bulkhead, why it matters? Benefits. Isolating resources is critical for maintaining overall system reliability during partial failures. Prevents blocking, improves stability, better resource isolation. One slow API or dependency won't exhaust threads for the entire application, keeping other healthy parts responsive. Improves system stability. Containment of failures ensures that a single component crash doesn't cascade into a total system outage. Better resource isolation. Guarantees fair resource allocation so that high volume or problematic services don't starve critical business functions. The impact is prevent domino effects in your architecture. No cascading failures, dedicated resources, predictable performance. Bulkhead code example, you can use @bulkhead. Okay, here also you need one fallback method. Whenever it's failing, it will go here in the fallback method. Here you can return cache data or whatever you want. Okay, here you can see we are using type thread pool. Okay, so it isolates resources with a dedicated thread pool. Heavy downstream call to payment gateway handles bulkhead full exception when pool is full. Okay. By setting type equal to thread pool, we create a separate pool for this service. If the payment gateway hangs, it only XORs this specific pool, not the entire web server's request threads. Why service layer? Applying bulkhead at the service layer ensures that resource limits are enforced before business logic executes. It acts as a firewall, protecting the rest of your application from cascading resource starvation. Asynchronous execution. Notice the return type of completable feature. Thread pool bulkheads run asynchronously. If you need synchronous blocking behavior, use semaphore type instead. We have two types, thread pool and semaphore. Thread pool is asynchronous, semaphore is synchronous. What is retry pattern? This is the third pattern. A mechanism to mask temporary failures by transparently re-attempting the operations. Automatic retries, transient failures, bounded execution. Automatically repeats a failed operation without user intervention, making the system appear more reliable. Designed specifically for temporary glitches like network blips, socket timeouts, or brief service unavailability. Bounded execution uses parameters like max attempts, wait duration, and randomized backoff to prevent system overload. The strategy: if at first you don't succeed, try again cautiously. Transient errors only, exponential backoff must be idempotent. Retry when not to use. Blindly retrying every failure can worsen system stability and corrupt data. Permanent failures like 404 not found or 403 forbidden, there is no point of retrying, so do not retry. Non-idempotent operations. Retrying operations that change state. Okay, change state means a charge payment or bill payment. Okay, without idempotency keys can lead to duplicate transactions. So do not use retry in non-idempotent operations. Overloading services. If a service is struggling under load, retrying adds fuel to the fire, causing a retry storm that ensures the service stays down. The risk. The good intentions can lead to self-inflicted do's. Thundering head problem, data inconsistency, increased latency. Retry pattern code example, you can use at the rate retry. You can configure how many times it should retry, what is the time limit, how much time it should wait. These things we can configure in our YAML. So warning, avoid putting this in controller. It can cause request duplication issues. So better to keep it in the service layer. Transient failures only. Idempotency is key. Avoid controllers. Okay. So use this for temporary issues like network blips or timeouts. The system automatically re-executes the method if an exception occurs transparently to the caller. Idempotency is the key. Ensure the operation is idempotent, safe to repeat. Retrying a charge credit card operation without checks could double charge the customer. Avoid controllers. Do not place at a retry on controller methods. If the client also retries, browser refresh or mobile app retry, you risk an exponential storm of duplicate requests. We can also combine the patterns. Here you can see we are using 3 patterns: circuit breaker, retry, and bulkhead. So it is also possible. Here check the order: retry, then circuit breaker, then bulkhead. That is the by default order. This order is critical. Why this order? Retry is outermost to catch transient errors. Circuit breaker is in the middle to stop calls if too many fail. Bulkhead is innermost to limit concurrent threads on the actual resource. So do not forget to put timeouts. Always pair this with at the right time limiter or client-side timeouts. A bulkhead prevents thread exhaustion, but a timeout frees up the thread faster if the server hangs. Layer-wise placement. Don't place any of these in the controller layer. Okay. At the service layer, we can have all these: circuit breaker, retry, and bulkhead. At the client level also, we can have these three. In repository level, better don't put any patterns. Okay. So service layer is the ideal placement for these design patterns, resilience patterns, or client level. Best practices: set the timeouts, monitor metrics, meaningful fallbacks. Meaningful fallbacks means provide default values or cache data or degraded functionality instead of simply throwing errors. So resilience is not just code, it's a configuration. Timeouts configured, metrics observable, fallbacks tested. So recap key takeaways: the three pillars of microservice resilience: circuit breaker, bulkhead, retry. Circuit breaker stops the bleeding, bulkhead compartmentalization, retry second chance. Circuit breaker fails fast immediately, prevents cascading failures. Bulkhead isolates resources, limits blast radius. Retry handles transient errors, improves availability. The resilience equation: combining these patterns creates systems that are self-healing and robust against network instability. These all are the interview tips. You can pause and read this. So thank you. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.